Hello, this is not a spring chicken. Yes, we just had the VMAs or MTV Video Music Awards, which was rather uneventful. Although the big news is today is the majority of the people don't think that the president knows the difference between right and wrong. Well, for now, we're going to bring Oldecam on with comments on the headlines of today. The people of the United States need to learn tolerance.
I know, isn't that amazing? It's why the people basically got this poll that he does not know. He knows what is legal, but he doesn't know what is right. I mean, they're telling the people, the reason why we have problems with Muslims is because you're an intolerant race of people. And when you learn tolerance, that you're going to be more, be able to belong to the international community. Well, they don't have tolerance, folks.
Not at all.
Basically, they don't like Muslims in any country in this world where the Muslims aren't the predominant group. They don't like them. So
yeah, I think they're one of the
So we're
more...
the most tolerant people, but not to Barack Hussein Obama.
And Japan frees 14 crew members of the Chinese ship and holds the captain.
Well, it was because they were in their territorial waters, which is sort of ridiculous. If you spit, you're in Chinese waters or in Japanese waters or Korean waters. This is what happened years ago when the Democrats decided through the UN to increase territorial waters. They don't realize that, like our territorial waters encroach upon Cuba's and theirs encroaches upon us. And
well, don't they border each other?
they run right into one another now. They go like this, so...
Yeah. California Supreme Court seems likely to uphold forced state furloughs.
It's got to do, they don't have any money. I love this. The clown that's our state controller who's running for lieutenant governor he can't understand. Well, we've got enough money to get us through to the 1st of October, so there's no reason to rush. Well, that's 2 weeks from now, folks, and the state's busted.
A second Colorado fire breaks out and destroys home.
Well, yeah, they think the first fire was because somebody was cooking outside in a no-burn area, which means they'll trace it back to where it started and somebody's going to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to their insurance company.
The mosque has to be built because things have went too far now not to build it.
Well, that's because they said Obama has told them to dig in because you're right. We have to teach the American people. We have to teach the American people how wrong they are, and the only way to do it is to put a monument to Cordoba in Spain, to the great victory of Muslims over the Caucasians.
I think it's just causing more problems.
No, he doesn't. This is why they say. This is why the polls, they're turning against him. When they think the majority of the people in this nation, in all the polls, say he simply does not share the same values as the rest of Americans and doesn't know the simple things as what is right from wrong. He doesn't. This man... he sits there and will sit there on the one hand, condemn somebody and then said, I look forward to working with you. Well, they're not going to work with you after you've told them, or he gives them their icy, you say something he doesn't like and he basically gives you, you're on the government hit list now.
Yeah. Record gains for the U.S. poverty with elections looming.
This George Bush's fault. Barack Obama had nothing to do with it. What he did was he spent so ungodly much money, there isn't any money to put into the system to keep people, above the poverty level. He didn't understand, well, the textbook said it should have worked. It's never worked.
And a judge won't kick Green Party candidates off the ballot.
Here's the Democrats thought that they could, the Democrats paid the legal fees of the Green Party to keep people off the ballot that basically had a legal right to be on the ballot. Like they said, they were grumping, well, these people were put there by Republicans. And the one guy says, I'm an independent, and I voted for Barack Obama, and I have a doctorate in environmentalism. But they wanted him off that ballot because he was put there by the Republicans.
Hertz reportedly accepts Dollar Thrifty's $1.43 billion bid.
Which actually shows that they don't read things when they do it when they put the news items up. Thrifty accepted, or the Hertz bid was accepted. The other company isn't buying Hertz, Hertz is buying them.
Oh.
It's totally ass backwards. It's one of these roadrunner moments from the press, folks.
And the U.S. must deal with domestic radical problem.
Oh, but we wouldn't have this problem except for George Bush's and the Republicans' policies.
Yeah, an Obama advisor sees high jobless rate continuing.
That is not what Obama put this guy in from Chicago to say. But he said, well, he was basically, he's the expectations game. Well, don't look until 2/12 for the jobs to turn around. Even though the company, the Wall Street is turning around. Well, they're basically trading money with one another, folks. The businesses, people are not buying stock. If people are not buying stock, then it's not turning around. It's just the intertrading of everything from one company to another.
Fellow American suspicions frustrate the U.S. Muslims.
Oh, I really hate to tell the poor Muslims like that, but when I was young, they were suspicious of Jews. When I was young, Catholics couldn't get elected to public office except in Catholic areas. When I was young, Protestants were looked down upon. When I was young, Lutherans were looked down upon. So looking down upon Muslims is nothing new in this country. They basically, after you've been here long enough and start getting elected to public office, there are not a lot of people elected to public office from communities that are heavily Muslim.
Oh, really?
They don't want to run for office.
Oh, interesting. Tropical storm Julia forms as Hurricane Igor strengthens.
Oh yeah, they're having one hurricane after another, but they don't do a whole lot. They're just basically lots of water and lots of wind. Nothing, no huge damage so far.
Doomsday warnings of U.S. apocalypse gain ground.
Well, yeah, they're all talking. Everybody in the world, all of the leaders of the world are talking. Barack Obama is a danger to the entire economic system of the world. This clown actually, well, I've saved the banking system by getting the world to agree with me that we have to stop loaning money to people and have reserves in case the market, in case the things go bad. Well, if they don't loan money, nothing's going to go bad.
Well, you know, part of it is that they really haven't been loaning money for the last year and a half.
But now they're going to loan even less money because they have to have like 10% of their total gross worth set aside for emergencies, which means you can't loan money if you have to. They have to increase it by 2.5 times what they currently have set aside.
Iran dissidents pinpoint alleged nuclear site.
Well, yeah, it seems that the Iranians have basically been fibbing to people. I don't understand. They told me that this was all the sites they had. That's what the State Department said.
It's all but over yet again for the Republicans, as once again the president can expect them to pass a spending bill the nation doesn't want.
Well, Bonnier said, I'm going to support it. Even though it's going to hurt businesses, I'm going to support Obama's plan to raise taxes. Of course, he's the only Republican out of 179 in the House and 0 out of 41 in the Senate. Not one other Republican supports Bonnier's view, which means they said Bonnier kissed his chance of the House Majority Leader out the window.
Bush GOP totally responsible for the economy, and the public doesn't appreciate what Obama has done for them.
I know, here's another Roadrunner moment. They know exactly what he's done. They said they blame Obama for the situation this country is in. They don't blame Bush anymore. You now have, here's a good one, he's now leading in the ballot by 6 points over Obama for a third term.
Wait a minute, but Bush isn't even running.
That's how bad they dislike Obama. I heard this morning, Susan Etheridge, who's another Obama kiss butt. Well, the people are just angry because they don't have full employment. And as soon as they get their jobs back, they'll go back to hating Bush again. No, they had jobs under Bush. They don't have jobs under Obama, Pelosi, and Reid. That's the difference.
Obama taps Chicago economist for post.
Yeah, and then he immediately said this morning that don't look for the job to improve anything. He basically corrected all of Obama's figures. There have only been 20,000 people hired in the health industry, not 400,000. And there's only been 600,000+ people in the private sector hired in 11 months, which is massively under what Obama's been reporting.
And the White House agrees to talk about solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, they took them off because they didn't work. Now they're going to put them back on because the green piece, we have to go green. Of course, the White House isn't green, the Capitol building isn't green, the Senate building isn't green. None of them are green because they can't afford to retrofit.
Oh, and 5 still missing after deadly explosion and fire in San Bruno, California.
Yeah, but they unfortunately have found remains now. But I saw pictures this morning in a grocery store. People could see the explosion and the ball of fire coming at the grocery store. But they're going to make PG&E replace 5,000 miles of pipe, which they can't afford to
They
do.
can't afford to do that.
They said the rates are gonna go, well, here's the Obama people, well, then they'll have to turn to green energy, won't they? This is natural gas, folks. This is a green energy, which is natural gas.
And a Monty Bubbleism from the Mark Twain of the animal kingdom.
The unfortunate thing is most politicians forget that they're elected to do the will of the people, not the will of the political party.